So everything at Pillitteri starts with the family. This photo was taken, I believe, about 2 years ago for our 30th anniversary.
Now we're off to the vineyard with Jacob. This
Yes.
Yeah.
nothing's really growing yet,
Let's
is
go
it?
for a frolic here. I'll show you. Well, let's go this way. We don't have the space to really dry like a lot of grapes, but these two kilns right here are where we do it. And we didn't talk about it yet, but you can get a good shot of it. One of our wind machines in the background there.
Today we're taking you with us on the Grand Estate tour.
So Boris works mainly in our lab.
Yeah.
So he.
I'm technically assistant.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, I do all the QA, all the quality assurance, like new product trials, lab analysis, like regulatory approvals, things like that.
So you do all the taste approval.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just
Yeah.
I mean, because chemistry is great, but you still have to like.
So yeah, this is our the newest part of our cellar. So this was added on in 2019. We did this expansion, and as the years go on, we will continue to expand it. So we'll be continuing to buy new tanks and modernize it, but for now, this is kind of where we're at.
So it's like a Swizzler, so it doesn't come like. I can't imagine what the
Oh God, the
the
pressure.
pressure head would be like.
Oh, I've been so in times that I've worked in the cellar, I have I've experienced by my own mistake, leaving. Oh yeah. Like remember one time I was working on one of the tanks and like the hose was connected to the valve, but I didn't close the valve before I took it off.
Oh God.
And I just got, not only do you get soaked, but you get blasted. Like you're
Oh,
on,
yeah, there's a lot
like
of
you're on the,
pressure.
like you're on the ground.
It's a fire hose.
It really is. It's intense.
Yeah.
So the story with our Riesling, it's an interesting varietal for us because it grows extremely well in Niagara. Like it's one of the best that our region produces. But for our winery, we've never really specialized in it as a single varietal. Where our winemaker really values Riesling is for blending. So he's a master blender. What we like about Riesling is that it has really high acidity. So in wines that are sweeter, like for example ice wine or some of our Gewürztraminer wines, adding some Riesling really helps to balance everything out. So this Riesling here is most likely going to not be bottled as such. It's going to be used as a component to blend with some of our other wines. So when you try it, you notice that we're really going for like the tart acidity. So give it a taste and let me know what you think. Cheers.
Cheers.
I smell apple.
Yeah, very
Maybe.
much. We're going for that green apple kind of crisp flavor. We have one wine in particular. It's our Gewürztraminer Riesling blend. That wine became so popular that we no longer really can produce a single varietal Gewürztraminer or Riesling. We have to dedicate all of our vineyard to going into that blend.
So Chuck, Jacob said this one was going to be mixed.
Yeah,
So it's like ready to go.
Pretty much. So at this point, what's left to do is do some blending experiments. So that's where Boris, Alex, myself, a few of the family members will get together, and usually on around a monthly basis, we'll go through and we'll taste and make blends of whatever is coming down the pipeline. So coming up soon, because this wine is pretty much ready to go now, is going to be some of our white blends. We're going to go through those pretty soon.
Cool. The label on the tank, it's like, okay, we know it's 2024 Riesling, and then you guys take like, are these notes that are going on like along the process?
These are what has happened to the wine throughout
far.
its history. So as you can see, most of it happened in October. What's the most interesting is the last thing it went through centrifuge. We actually have a centrifuge here, which is a very expensive piece of equipment for a winery to have. Most small ones don't have one, but it's a very clean way of filtering your wine because you're not running it through pads, which not only are kind of wasteful, you go through a lot of pads, but they strip away a lot of the wine's flavor. Whereas the centrifuge is able to get everything out of the wines, all the solids, without damaging the wine as much. But let's go. I want to take you guys around this way to show you a few more things. Taking you guys on a little
we wore
journey.
closed-toed shoes.
I prepared.
She's prepared. She
Yeah, we're
has.
ready.
She has her shoes on.
You guys knew what you're getting into.
And I think part of the reason was that Chuck and I had visited a brewery before, and they actually told us we had to.
Oh, I see.
So
Similar idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
same idea.
this is our press. So this giant machine here, there's a big cylinder which all the grapes get fed into, and it actually holds about 20 tons of grapes. So pretty massive all at once. Inside of the cylinder, there's a bag that inflates with air. So we call it a bladder press. And as the bag is inflating, that's what's pushing on the grapes. But where the juice actually comes out is through this pipe here into the tray. Now this tray is really just to hold the wine temporarily. After it goes in the tray, it's going to get pressed out, or pumped out, sorry, into the other the tanks, depending on where it's going to go.
So it goes from here to
some of the tanks.
To there.
And this is where the reds will actually ferment. So some features that these tanks have that make them very good for doing red wine. During the red wine process, fermentations produce CO2. And that's not an issue in a white wine because the CO2 just like evaporates into the air. But in a red wine, the problem is that as the CO2 is coming out, it brings up all the skins. So all the solids end up forming a layer on top of the wine.
Oh.
And then there's just like free run wine at the bottom. We have to break up that layer of skins and seeds and mix it. Typically that's done very painstakingly, tank by tank. You would go and pump them over. So you would set up a pump, drawing wine from the bottom of the tank over the top.
I was gonna say I saw that pump, so I'm guessing they would pump it from down here.
So it does it by itself. All we have to do is flick one of those switches,
and then it goes all
up this line,
the way up.
And then in the top is almost like a shower head that spins around, and make sure that everything evenly gets. Now, if you come down to these tanks over here, we didn't want to just buy all the same kind of tank. We wanted to sort of, spread out our resources that way. So these 6 tanks over here, they actually use pulse air, which means that instead of pumping over the tanks, we actually connect, they're not connected right now, but we can connect these pressurized gas lines into these valves and bubble to break up the cap.
Oh, aerate it.
The nice thing and the reason why we wanted to buy different ones is because each will have a different effect on the wines. Doing the pump over is a little bit more harsh. So you're gonna extract more of the skins, so that the tannins and the colors and the flavors, whereas this is super gentle. So we use these ones oftentimes when we're fermenting wine that we are aiming for it to become one of our more approachable, easy drinking style red wines. Also, something that makes these tanks really good for red wine is notice the doors are flat at the bottom. So once the fermentations are done for the red wine, we can actually empty them very easily. If we're using a tank where, let's say, the door isn't flush with the bottom, well, that's not going to be an ideal situation. Once the red's done fermenting, you have to get in there with a shovel and shovel out all the grapes, which is insane. That takes forever, and it's kind of a hostile environment in there because there's a lot of CO2 still. So you got to wear like a mask and like get in there, and it's intense. These tanks do it automatically.
Oh,
so
nice.
there's a paddle on the ground.
Oh, really? Just sweeps them out.
Sweeps them out. Yeah.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Oh yeah. So these we spared no expense on these tanks, and they've helped us a lot in streamlining our process. And the less time you have to spend worrying about this stuff, the more time we could spend with other things.
And it seems definitely worth it because you said they last forever.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
So we're eventually going to be putting in more of these tanks into this building, and the other tanks that you saw earlier we'll probably be getting rid of at some point. This is part of the building that we added in 2019. So it was like the cellar was built, and then this little section here. Notice on the doors how it looks kind of like almost like a cluster of grapes.
Yes.
Well, that's only a preview of what's behind the doors. Come inside and check it out.
So it is like Willy Wonka. We have to play
really
the
is.
music. Come
guess that makes
with
me wanna
me,
open up
and you'll see. It's a world.
No music though, sadly.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Just this stuff alone is super cool.
You will see stuff that also makes its appearance on our labels. 60 barrels that we're taking apart to make this wall. We do get rid of maybe about 100 barrels a year, based on them kind of not really expiring, but essentially after about maybe 6 or 7, maybe 8 years, the barrels have lost a lot of their flavor. And it might not be worth us to keep if it's not really giving us anything. So we are right now the largest estate producer of ice wine in the world. So it's very much in our DNA to do ice wines. If you guys look over here, this is a little display of all kinds of different ice wines that we've made over the years, kind of like a little museum or Hall of Fame, if you will, showing what we've done. Now, just to break down the process of making ice wine a little bit, we talked about it already, but just to give you the full spiel, it's got to be at least -8 degrees Celsius or 17 Fahrenheit for us to harvest the grapes for ice wine. So all we do is we take the same grapes that we would otherwise use to make a regular wine, but instead of harvesting them in September or October, they're harvested in usually January, or whenever it gets to -8. That being said, we never know when it's going to happen, so there's always a big element of risk when you're making ice wine. Once we have the right temperature, we can go and harvest the grapes. The process, though, is a little different than what you guys saw earlier. Yes, the grapes are still pressed right away, but not with that machine that you guys saw. That thing is way too gentle to press ice wine grapes. Ice wine grapes are like marbles. They are totally frozen
Because they're
solid.
frozen.
So it's a little bit more like pressing olive oil.
So that larger bottle, is that ice wine as
It
well?
is, yes. That's actually a 750 ml bottle of ice wine. Gary Pillitteri made his first ice wine in 1988, which you see, of course, that bottle there. So he was one of the early adopters of ice wine in this region.
Is there actually ice wine in the bottle?
Oh yeah, that's still that is the wine.
So, I mean, if you were to drink it, is it drinkable?
It would be, yeah. So ice wine never really goes actually bad, but it might not have the best flavor at this point. Generally 20, 25 years, maybe 30 for some ice wines is reasonable, but it's pretty rare that you're gonna see them last that long. Most people like ice wine young.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
better
hate
young.
to say, the only reason I think it lasted that long is because I think what happened is we kind of misplaced it temporarily.
Oh, I see. It happens, it happens.
The magic
This is like Willy Wonka.
It really is.
Wow,
Going
going in the secret door. Super dark.
Ooh, smells nice in here.
I'll explain all that stuff in a minute. But I just want to introduce the space. So remember the pictures we looked at the beginning of the tour?
Mhm.
In the very last photo, that was the first of the large buildings that we built. This is the basement of that building.
Oh,
So it was deliberately designed for us to age our wines. It's kept at 12 degrees Celsius all year round. And a lot of that is largely just because of the depth that we are underground. It's a very constant temperature down here. It's all made of concrete. Concrete is awesome because it helps, it retains some moisture, which helps control the environment for the barrels better. Almost every barrel that we have here has red wine in it. We really do barrel age our red wines mostly. Remember we talked about reds fermenting with the skin?
mm-hmm.
Well, that adds tannin to the wine. So now we're getting the bitterness from those skins. The whole reason people say that wine gets better with age really comes from the fact that the tannins, when they react with oxygen very slowly over time, will actually start tasting smoother. So using the barrels is a great way to achieve that. Air comes inside through the pores of the wood and very slowly starts to chemically alter the wines. So there's sort of two things that we're getting from the barrel. You're getting softness, but then you're also getting flavor. So the barrels will actually impart some flavor in the wine. They're toasted on the inside, and it's actually the burnt part of the barrel on the inside that transfers flavor into the wines.
Oh, interesting.
If you kept your wine in just a barrel that was untoasted, it's
Mhm.
gonna taste, I like to say, it tastes like Chateau 2x4. Literally will taste like you're eating a piece of wood. Everything that's engraved into the barrel has to do with the barrel itself. So like this would be the company that makes it. That would be sort of like the model number, if you will. The M+ references how toasted this barrel is, a medium plus level of toasting. So when you buy these barrels, you specify exactly what level you want. You won't really find H here, which would be a heavy toast. That's not common for wine because it's a little bit too strong. So generally in the M or M+ range is where you kind of find like some of the wine barrels. Also engraved on here is how old the barrel is. So the 18 is for 2018. That means that this barrel is closer to the end of its lifespan. That doesn't mean the wine inside isn't great. in fact, all it means is that the wine is going to have slightly less influence from the barrel than it would, let's say, if it was in a brand new barrel.
Because it's already been like kind of the wine extracted,
Yep.
the flavor from.
It's also because red wines leave a lot of sedimentation in this phase.
It's like
and
clogs them up.
It clogs it up, exactly. And the cost of taking the barrels apart and, let's say, sanding it down and refinishing it, retoasting it, is often as much as a brand new barrel itself. So loaded with some wine here.
He's sucking it out.
And sorry for the spillage. In there.
Cheers.
Cheers to a barrel tasting.
It's very soft.
Nice and smooth, right?
Yes.
And again, that's the effect of the barrel.
Merlot.
Not drinking any Merlot.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Each of these barrels is like, think of it as like one spice in your spice rack. So the final dish or the final wine that you make is many layers all at once. That's one reason why like homemade wine tastes so simplistic compared to a wine that you buy, like even if it's a cheap wine. Because in that glass that you're tasting, there might be 100 different wines in there mixed together. And you're getting all the flavors of all those wines at once. So blending is a really powerful tool with wine. The problem is that I think a lot of people think of blending as a negative. You think blending, you think covering something up, blending it away to hide it. But the reality is that pretty much every wine is going to be a blend. Even wines that on the label only declare one label are often blends, even if they're not aged in barrels. But again, we just have to taste it as it's aging and decide.
You're drinking the wine of the future.
The wine of the future, exactly. Yeah, I'd be like, how'd you taste that? I'd be like, you don't want to know.
It's classified.
Classified information, exactly.
Jake will kill me if I tell you.
Yeah. Yes, this is totally, no one's gonna ever know about this, right? So really, the story of the Cellar is quite interesting because our winery very early in our history, as early as 1995, was already exporting wine into other countries. We started in Asia. Taiwan was actually the first country we ever sold wine to. Now, the thing is that when you're focusing on the domestic market, you're seeing generally pretty small, like that tour that came through here, okay, maybe 10 people, 20 people max kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But when you start getting into international markets, you start getting like tour buses full of people. Coming down to the Cellar is like being invited around the table with the family. So that the chairs essentially represent the family members. More specifically though, if you notice on the chairs, they have all these markings.
Yeah.
Those actually tell the story of the family. Think of it like a family tree, except a family chair, I guess. Now to explain easier, look at our exclamation series wine label. It literally is the chair.
I was going to say
but
that. It
flattened
looks
out.
familiar.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's where this label comes from. So this is like the back part, this is the bottom of the chair, but flattened, that's like an exclamation mark. There's more to the chairs than just that also. So that actually is represented on the chairs by the circles. Every circle on that chair has a triangle on top of it. That's because if they ever were to use these chairs, whoever sits there sits wherever they want.